Nom, 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 nom. Am I still in the thing? Yes, okay, sorry. Sorry. All right, so I'm actually gonna start this new. See, this is still moist. So it's how you keep your paint still usable without having to spray it with water, which then dilutes it and thins it out. So I'll show you how to set this up. And please don't judge me on the state of my gross baking pan, which I will not be using for baking anymore. This is my art pan. Okay, so this can go here. Oh, Jesus. Okay, so I can do this. Oh, oh, oh. Sure, in theory. You can art and cook at the same time. Well, one can argue that cooking is a form of art. So I'm going to see if this... Nope, you are looking not at where I want you to. My desk is not a mess. No, it is. That's a lie. It is totally clean. Whoopsies. Maybe what if I make you small? Like super small. Smaller. I am so sorry if I'm making anybody motion sickness right now. There, that's good. Hey, look at me. Magic. Acrylic cookies. Groot. Yes, we have a special guest today. I'm actually very surprised by this. This is Shadow, our former couch cat. She used to live in our couch, but now she has become very brave. It is now a house cat. She's a rescue. My mom rescued her, and then we adopted her from my mom. So she is now a permanent fixture in our house, but she does sleep in the bathroom drawer now. But we're very surprised that she's actually up today at this time. We call her the bravest kitty. She's the bravest. Okay. Hair. Okay. So put your hair up. All right. So we have our baking pan. Now we are going to take your paper towel, your roll of paper towel, and you want to create like a little, a nice padded bed on your baking pan. Doesn't have to be ultra thick, but you know, like maybe like a medium thick. I like these half cut sheets because it fits in it perfectly. So look how nice that is. Nice and even. So this is 2 layers. I want at least maybe 2 more. It seems like a waste, but you can, once you have your bed down, you can just keep on reusing it. And it's actually a lot more environmentally friendly than an actual wet palette. Yeah, that's good. maybe one more because I'm feeling a little extra. Feeling a little extra today. I'm kind of looking at that orange and really wanting it. That's actually pretty good. Okay, one more layer. Two sheets, just so I can have a nice even base. That's good. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. Now start peeling your orange. The orange is not for anything. It's my breakfast. Just bear with me. So next thing we're going to do is if you have a water bottle or your vessel for containing your paint water, you want to fill that up with hot water, as hot as you can possibly handle. You want hot, 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 because it will help the parchment paper stick to the paper towel, and it'll help it absorb the water, because you want your parchment paper to be moist. It's actually more of a damp than a moist. How many people are going to yell at me for saying moist 3 times? You guys are so polite. Expert peeling. Expert level. Okay. Go there, orange. I'll be right back. I just need to scooch this over there. Think skinny thoughts. So this is my paint vessel, or my water vessel. I'm going to fill this up with hot water too. Okay. All right. It's a wee bit hot for my poor sensitive baby hands. All right. So we have our hot water. We have our baking pan lined with paper towels, and literally just pour the water all over this baby. You want the paper towel to be evenly and thoroughly soaked. You want it wet. So there we go. So our paper towel is nice and wet. Now we take our parchment paper. You put the parchment paper on your baking sheet. You can be lazy and just smush it down along the way, but I actually like to cut it to size. Find that it sits a lot better. And then it also won't raise at the edges. My shadow might have gone to sleep now. we go. One side. That's two sides. And just drop them on the floor, whatever. There's no judgment here. It's good enough. It's good enough. Nothing in this world is perfect. There we go. Now just smooth this. Where's like a good... Doesn't help that I keep everything on angles. So here we go. I want to smooth this out like so. So you'll notice that, whoopsies. Oh, sorry, I'm so sorry. It's the morning, gotta get all the phlegm out in the morning. Here we go. So you see that the parchment paper's nice and stuck down. It's actually quite damp now. You even have some like water droplets that are coming in from the sides. This is what you want. This is perfect, and it will keep your acrylic paints moist and workable. So one thing that I like about acrylic is, one, it dries fast. Two, you can paint over it. So if you make a mistake, just wait for the paint to dry and you can paint right over it and nothing ever happened. And you don't have to worry about your color placements like with oil paints, for example. The other thing that I like about acrylic paint is it's very versatile. You can thin it out with water if you want. The only thing about that is the thinner you make your acrylic paint, the more chance it has of cracking over time, which is what makes sealing your painting actually important at the end. Oh, sorry. So, I'll be fine, Franco. I'll be fine. I'm a trooper. I'm going to scooch this over here. So, what do we want to paint today? Does anybody have any goals of what they want to paint? Stick this here. Put this here. I am going to, what am I doing next? Boop, 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 boop. Turn this off for 2 seconds. Okay, so we have rabbits. I'm also sorry you don't have your bunnies anymore. Bongo cat. You're most welcome. I lost my first kitty last winter. Not the winter that just passed, but the winter before that. So that was really hard, so I understand. Bongo Cat's first stream. I like that. Okay, that is way off. That's good. Can you? And then we scooch. We scooch. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Oh, thank you, thank you. It's a work in progress. It's taking a lot longer than I had anticipated. Whoopsies. Go down there. Okay, so while we think of things, this is what I'm going to get you to do. So you can kind of still see my canvas here in the this side, not on the easel. We'll ignore the easel. Actually, I will take. Gotta clean up my desk, eh? Where's my mess go? Where'd my mess go? Somewhere. Somewhere. There it is. Found it. So we're ignoring the easel. So. The next step is prepping your canvas. Now these dollar store canvases, they're good. They're canvases, but they need to be prepped quite well in order to obtain a nice smooth surface. I'm actually really excited about this easel. I hadn't had one in a really long time. So to prep your dollar store canvas, you're going to take your white paint, so your white acrylic dollar store paint. I'm going to move my mouse. You're going to do this. Big squirts all over. Like you just ice some cinnamon buns. Can you see that? See? See how it's nice a lot all over? Now, shoot. You're gonna take a thick brush. Thick. Yeah, like that. And you're just going to evenly distribute your paint all over the canvas until you get a nice, thick, smooth layer. And this is what is also known as priming your canvas. Oops, I'm pretty sure I'm getting paint all over the floor, and I don't care. Oh, I got a little gunky in there. Where are you? Where are you? Okay, so it's a little messy right now. There you go. So you can see how it's like, it's all bumpy. It's not even. So I'm just going to take a better paintbrush. still a dollar store one, but it's just a bit wider. So I'm gonna just take that and I'm just gonna even it out. Do 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 do. And you want to do the sides too. Nothing irks me more than a nice, beautiful painting, and the sides of the canvas are left like, at least color. Do something. Something. I got a chunky. I got a chunky in there. Get out of there, chunky. There. Meh. There we go. So you just want to keep, basically, it's going to sound so bad. You want to keep stroking back and forth until you have a nice, smooth, even surface. Just smooth out any sort of rises or bumps. Get any chunky bits out of there. Essentially what you're doing is just creating a very smooth plastic layer. And this will really help when you're painting on it to keep nice, smooth brush strokes. There we go. The hard part is not overworking it, because once it starts to dry and get tacky, when you start painting over it, you'll start getting the see the brush lines and the brush, like the bristle strokes in there. You want to try to avoid that to obtain the smoothest possible surface. This is going to be a lot of do what I say, don't do what I do situation here. All right, so I think this is good. This is my nice smooth canvas. See how smooth that is now? It's nice and glossy. You don't have any bumps. It's not messy. All right, so I'm going to set this aside to dry. It should be dry fairly quickly. Give it a couple minutes. Be a little patient. A good place to put it to dry. All right, I will stick this bad boy here. Only a little bit of paint on the floor. All right, get some tea. Get some tea. Okay, now I can turn that camera back on. Video capture device. There we go. All right. So for our next exercise, we're going to pretend that I primed this. We're going to use our imaginations here. Is this good? There. It's true, right? Okay. 1 second. Okay, so I just grabbed a pot lid, and we're gonna make a color wheel. That's going to be our warm-up exercise. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Whoopsies. Good. Oh. I know what I'm doing, I swear. Good enough. Yes. Oh, and I got paint on this. Did I get paint on this? How did I get paint on this? No, I'm just crazy. Oh, I did get paint on this. Weird. I don't know how that happened. Okay. Now I need a ruler. As you could probably tell, I was always one of those kids that came to school never prepared. So we want to create a 3-piece pie. Where's our center? Is that centerish? Does that look centered? Centered enough. So where's my 3 pieces? How does one make thirds? Oh, that is so uneven. Like that? Comme ça? Oopsies. Oh boy. Okay, so we have our 3-piece pie. Now the next thing we need to do is cut these pieces in half. Right? Yes. Right? Yes. Okay. It's lovely, isn't it? It's beautiful. Okay, so in our pie piece, we're going to start with yellow. I have here sun yellow and bright yellow. So I think I'm probably going to do bright yellow, but I just want to check out what's the sun yellow like. It's a nice yellow. Okay. For the sake of consistency, I'm going to do yellow. Okay. It's a nice bit of yellow right on your wet palette here. I like to start from like the top and work my way down so that way I have maximum area to separate my paints. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I'm also going to take a quick medicine break. It's like, I expect it to be just a little cough, and then it's like this big, like, hacking thing. And if it's okay, I'd like to just turn on some music. It'll be very quiet, I promise. There we go. It's quiet, right? Just let me know if it's too quiet, if it's too loud. It should be fine though. Ugh, okay. All right, so we have our yellow. I need my paintbrushes. I have some more orange, some more vitamin C. No. Why Discord? Oh, does it really? So like you don't hear me like hacking? Oh, it's a king of mischief. Give a hand to the wonderful mod extraordinaire. My wonderful mod extraordinaire. Okay, paintbrushes. So we have our wheel. We're going to start by putting yellow right here. And by doing this, it gives it a feel for the paint, for the brush, how things move. And I'm going to show you. So I'm doing this on an unprimed canvas. So that way you can see the difference of how the paint moves and sits on the canvas with an unprimed one and a primed one. Oh, take care, Rain. Thank you for coming in. And I'm also going to show you another thing too. So this is going to be our lovely little test canvas. So one of the things that I love about these dollar store paints is that they are quite opaque, but very fluid. So they're quite fluid. And I'll show you. So you see how here, I don't know if you can quite see it on here, but it's, you know, the paint, if I do this, the paint actually flows down and water is leaking. With professional paints, it's very viscous, so it's very thick. Malleable was the word I was looking for. There we go. We got our one slice in. There we go. I found them. So to show you the difference, so you know how this here, I was able to do this and it slides down, starts to slide down. This is professional paint. I'm trying to use a bit. And as you can tell, it's very goopy, like toothpaste. So it's very thick. And if I were to, it doesn't slide down. Very nice. I just squeezed. Professional paint is red. Yeah. So the way to work with professional paint is to dilute it. And you can dilute it with water if you want, but most of the times actually diluted with what's called matte medium. And if you were able to find it in your dollar store, this is the Mod Podge matte medium. See if I can see this here. And what it does is it acts like a thinning agent without actually thinning out the paint itself. So if I were to find a paintbrush, so I'll add a bit of this in here. So, and then I'm not going to use my nice thin paintbrush. And paper towels. Mix that around. Beep, 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 beep. Oh, and I got some yellow in here. That's okay. I'm just using this for an experiment to show. So there, by mixing just a little bit of matte medium, you can see already that it's easier to work with. It's a little bit more fluid, workable, malleable, whatever, just by adding that matte medium. And the matte medium acts as a sealer, a diluter, glue. And what you can do with this matte medium as well is you can do it to make, your professional acrylic paints more workable. You can also do it. So actually, you know what? Maybe I'll just do this on the canvas instead of working it on my wet palette so you can't see it. So this here, this is with my professional paint. So I'm just going to do this up here. So this is with just matte medium. Did I put it away already? I did. So this is with no matte medium. So you see how hard it is to work, right? Oh, I hope I'm not getting you like long distantly sick. Illness is now mutated to the point where you can actually transfer it electronically. Okay. So now what if I were to add even more matte medium? Let's add a lot. And the great thing about the dollar store paint as well is it's really cheap. So if you just want to like play around with a bunch of paints and experiment, you're not going to feel guilty about wasting a bunch of paint. Because it's $1. Actually, it was actually $1.25. So mixy, mix, 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 mix. So what this is going to do is this is going to make it more translucent without actually losing or thinning out the paint. So it's really neat. My mom actually taught me this. And my mom is now officially a professional painter, a professional artist. I'm super proud of her. And she's taught me a couple things along the way. And this is one of the things that she taught me. And this technique with the matte medium and using it to create translucentness in paint is how I created these guys. So these, my cat portraits, so my shadow portraits, this here, is used with just black paint with matte medium and then just straight up white for the highlights. I know, right? They're so good. We gotta do it again soon, but my parents are on vacation for like all of summer. So, it must be nice to be retired. So I added just a bunch of matte medium, and so we'll take a look at what happens here. So see how translucent that's become now? So we have our straight up professional paint with no matte medium. We have just a little bit matte medium added, probably maybe a 50-50. And this is like basically a full dilution. And so when mixing my paints, what I try to do is I try to keep everything in a ball. That way it keeps it a little bit cleaner, and your paint around the edges doesn't dry up as quickly, so you wind up not actually losing a lot of paint or wasting paint. So we're gonna see what this Christmas red looks like. Okay, I need an executive decision. Do I do bright red or Christmas red? First answer wins. Aha, see, I fooled you guys. Fooled you. I just said first answer wins. There we go. So we'll do Christmas red. True, but it wasn't one of the answers. Didn't help me. Okay. So now we're going to put our red, we're going to leave a space and we're going to put our red here. You don't have to be neat about it. It's just practice. It's just practice. There we go. So there's our red. Woo. Now we're going to take our blue. I am using peacock blue. And we're going to skip a space and put our blue there. And of course, I forgot to mention, but after each color switch, I am rinsing my paintbrush. And the other thing about acrylic too is you don't deal with any chemicals. So there we go. So we have our yellow, red, blue. These are our primary colors. So primary colors are colors that aren't created by mixing other colors together. So red, yellow, and blue are the bases of for other colors. So to complete our color wheel, I'm going to mix yellow and red together. Which in theory will create orange. So I'm taking my red, taking my yellow, and what I like to do is I kind of like to mix them at the bottom. So I took some red and I just added, or added the red to the bottom of the yellow. That way I still have yellow up top in case I still need to use it. And I'm not ruining the whole pile. So we have this orange color. So we'll put it here. Oh, it's pretty orange. That's why I say in theory, you never look with the thing is to with professional paints, they're very pigment oriented. So the pigments are true. Because that's what professionals need. But with the cheaper paints, they can kind of get a little fuddy-duddy when it comes to mixing them. So because the base colors for these may not, be accurate. Oh, I need to add a bit more yellow. There we go. It's because I'm not using a primed canvas, so it's just getting stuck. It's just getting stuck. Oh, so sorry. Okay, so now we have orange. Now we're going to take red and blue. Now, one thing about mixing is when mixing, so these are warm colors. These on this side are going to be cool colors. When mixing cool colors into warm colors, use less cool color. So I'm taking blue and I'm putting it into red. To start off, I'm only taking like this much blue is all that I'm taking. See, it's just like it's like a little dollop. And I'm going to mix it into my red. Because what can happen is the cool color can overpower very quickly. So we're trying to create purple here, but what might happen is we might get like a really dark purple if we're not careful. So I'm just adding like a dollop at a time. And then knowing me, I'm probably gonna get impatient, add too much. So now we kind of have this like maroon color going. There we go. This is like we got a purple going. Yeah, exactly. You can make purple. There. Okay, that's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's more like a Merlot than a purple. But it's close enough. And what you can do with this color wheel is you can make it gradient. So you can, when doing a color wheel, you can cut as many slices as you want. but I will show you how it should look. This is not the greatest purple, but it will do. It will do for the sake of this exercise. There we go. So we have kind of sort of purple. Now the last one is we're going to mix blue and yellow together. So I'm going to take this, right? No, that was wrong yellow. Take this, stick it there. Got our blue there. This should be quick and easy. So I'm just going to, again, take like a scoop. See, this blue is not a true blue because this green is turning into like, it's kind of like a pea green. It's more like mucus green. And if it were a true blue, this would be more of a lime green, like a neon green. But it could also be that I'm getting some purple in here. So here, okay, so there we go. We have our color wheel. So, and the reason why I did this, because I wanted to show you that as long as you have yellow, red, and blue, you can make any color. And then the other two ones that you need is you need your white and your black paint. So if you have those 5 paints, you're golden. You can do whatever you want. And then your matte medium to dilute your paint as well. So we have, so here's our color wheel. We have our primary colors. Then we have our orange, purple, and green. And the way that this is set up is the opposite color is complementary. So yellow is complementary color of purple, green is complementary color of red, and blue is complementary color of orange. And what is good about knowing this is when you're painting, you're thinking about a background, it's a good idea to use, try to use something that's complementary to your bigger piece, because it'll help it pop. And then the other thing to remember too is if you're mixing paints, is complementary colors do not mix into each other. So if you were to mix complementary colors into one another, they'll just create either gray or brown. So I can show you here, I have a bunch of orange here, orange and blue. So I'll just show you with that, seeing as I have a bunch right here. So I'm just going to take some blue and I'm going to put it right in the orange. So I have, what I'm doing now is I'm actually creating brown. So I have this brown color. This is blue and orange. Color of mud. Mud. So blue and orange makes brown. There you go. If you need brown, mix blue and orange. see what green and red does. So red, I got green here. It makes kind of like a salmon color. But I mean, that's the professional paint too, so it's going to overpower whatever the dollar store paint is. But even still, this is making like a tan. Like a tan color. It's kind of like orange. This is a lie. Lie to me. And then if we did yellow and purple, oh yeah, this is like a poop brown. Cool. Look at that. This is like, yeah. So you got brown. Mixed complementary colors, you get brown. The other thing that one of the most important things to note about acrylic though, is it does dry darker than when you initially put it on. So if you want to know what the true color is, the good idea is to let it dry. To speed up drying process, if you are impatient, you could use a hair dryer. But the thing about the hair dryer is just be careful that you're not going to push your paint. So if you have a really thick area of paint, just be very careful with that, because otherwise the air from the hair dryer will actually push it. So, oh my God, sweet agua. Grabbing some tea. So have we decided what we're going to paint today? Give you a few more minutes. And I will try to find my pencil. If I were a pencil, where would I be? It's okay, I could use a pen for this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go here. Just creating like a little box. One, two, three, four, 5, 6. Okay, so what I am going to do here taking some white. I'm taking some black. I'm actually going to need more white than that. A lot of white. A lot of white. Hello. So here, I'm going to put black here. Welcome in, Clever. Oh, why did I say welcome in, Clever? Jeez. Welcome in, Unmagical Me. Jeez. Not had my caffeine yet today. Okay, so we got black on that end. I have white on this end. Thick, thick white. Trying to do this as quick as possible because I don't want to bore you guys too much with color theory. Okay. White on one end, black on the other. We're going to try to create a gradient. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from black to white. And I'm going to do actually, because I don't need the black anymore, so I'm just going to add a bit of white to the black gradually. So here's our first gray. And I'm going to get very ticky-tacky at you guys. Okay. Add more white. Now, when making gray, less is more. So you want to add a small bit of black when making gray. Otherwise, you will just have dark gray for days. So, and I'm doing these gradients by just adding white to an area of black that I pulled out. So I just pulled out this, or you can't even see it. So on my palette right here, I just pulled down a little bit of black and I added white to it. And now I'm just continually adding white into this pile to create a gradient scale. And I'm just adding, to make it even, I'm adding a scoop of white each time. And hopefully this will work out. I think it'll be fine. That's a very technical term, a scoop. It's the best way I could describe it. See? And then I'm going to add another scoop of white. And mix, 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 mix. Mix, 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 mix. I like that. And another scoop. Maybe a bit more because this one has a bit of black in it. There we go. Mix, 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 mix. It's going to be a big jump. It's not too bad. Okay, so now we have shades. So black, grays, and white are shades. Now, if I were to take blue, so I'll put the blue here. Now, if I take blue, add a bit of white, we have another type of blue. Okay, so now we have, maybe let's take some black. Show you what happens when we add black to things. Right. So we have blue, a darker blue, a lighter blue, and even lighter blue. What would you think these were called? A lot of people would say that they're shades of blue. It's wrong. Wrong. These are hues. Shades, hues. Wait a second. Gosh, spit that out. It's gross. Ugh. So sorry. Apologize. All right. So now we have our color theory done. Do we know what we want to draw or what we want to paint? We made an executive decision. Actually, you know what? I was about to say, screw you guys. But I know what would be a good thing to do. I'm gonna try to paint my shirt. My gremlin clouds. Now I can put this, where can I put this? I can put this here. Shadow has long since gone to bed. So is this dry? So my canvas isn't quite dry yet. As you can see, there is still some, actually what does this camera do? Can you see it? You see the shiny bits? Maybe not. Does this one see it? Show it? Kind of not really. Okay. But take my word for it, there's some little shiny bits there. It means that it's still wet. Also, if you were to take your hand and touch it, if it's cold to the touch, it means that it's still wet. Okay, so we have, are we allowed to take like a quick break? Because I kind of need to pee. Is that a thing that we're allowed to do? Perfect, okay. So let's take a quick break just to kind of relax ourselves, maybe grab a snack. It's already been an hour. Can you believe it's only been an hour and a half? Let's reconvene shortly. I don't know, let's say like 10 minutes. Does that sound good? Is that too long? Perfect. Is that good? Okay, perfect. Cool. So we'll kind of like chill out a little bit, you know, center ourselves. Excellent, because I really do need to go to the washroom. So I'm gonna throw on my VR. I can do that. Perfect. It's perfect. Okay, now I just need to scooch it. Okay, so if I scooch this over here, you can see what I'm doing. Perfect. Cough, cough. So you can already tell that I'm actually like starting to feel better. All the phlegm is kind of releasing, which is nice. All right, so I lost my pencil. Ah, I found my pencil. I knew it'd come back. So we're gonna take our pencil. Now, the reason why I said a sketchbook is a good idea is because it's a good idea to always is kind of plan your painting. That way you're not sketching on your canvas and you won't have a bunch of pencil marks all over your canvas. It just makes things a little bit easier. Another trick that you can do, if you've sketched something out in your sketchbook and you're like, wow, I really like this, but you know what, like I don't think I could recreate it, or I really just don't want to draw it again, pick up some carbon paper and tracing paper. So it's this here. This is what it looks like. I got this off of Amazon, and it was $12 for a kit. So I have, I think like 100 tracing paper pieces and 50 carbon paper pieces. And what the carbon paper, so the shiny side is the actual carbon side. So you can see here on my thumb, there's a little bit of black. So what you do is you put the tracing paper over your drawing that you did. You know, do your outline, and then you put the carbon paper on like this, and you kind of trace over it, over your tracing paper. And then the carbon paper will actually leave an imprint. That's what I did with this here. With this here is, as you can see, this is the outline of the carbon paper. So all these flowers I had pre-drawn on my sketchbook, Let's see here, where are they? So here's my flowers that I did in my sketchbook. And really what I thought to myself was, I don't really want to re-sketch it on the canvas. So I'll just trace it. It's not cheating. It's still your art. It's just transferred a lot easier. Okay, so we want Bongo Cat. Let's do Bongo Cat. Now, I am not the best drawer. I will admit that. Drawing is not my strong suit. I started off as more of like an abstract painter. I love painting. I love the just like the feel of painting. It's very satisfying to me. And it was just recently that I started actually drawing things, like actual things. And I try my best. Now you can go ahead and just sketch right on your canvas. And you can already tell just by my drawing here how much smoother this canvas is since we primed it first. Like you can tell on the other one just how bumpy it was. This is why I say you need a good eraser. Need a good eraser. Okay, so now it's more like this. Yes? Yes, more like this. It's hard to tell when it's moving. I'm also a perfectionist, which is why I'm not a strong drawer. Because this is just like a simple little doodle. I'm like, no, it must be perfect. It must look exactly like it. And how I draw is I tend to do it in steps, I suppose. So I had kind of like my outline, and now I'm just kind of fixing it up. It's true. Doodles are just as perfect with imperfections. It's true. It's true. Like I said, this is very much a do what I say, don't do what I do. So there we go. We have our bongo cat. Is this a good bongo cat outline so far? Yes, I think it looks okay. Maybe this paw needs to be like a little pointier. I'm happy with this one. And then we have an eye here. And an eye here. Oh. And then it kind of looks like a derpy bongo cat, but are we okay with this? Are we okay with a slightly derpy bongo cat? And then we just need okay, so we have bongo cat. Now what if so I like to challenge myself. Love to challenge myself. All right. This is we're getting somewhere. Can you guess where we're going with this? Now, the key that I find, or what I find, the pieces that I enjoy the most are ones that use um, non-traditional uses of space. So as you can see, like I kind of started in this corner, and this is where our focus is going to be. It's in this corner. You can do it right in the middle, right on if you want. But I just find I like movement. I like a different utilization of space. And to me, that's what kind of that's what really makes a painting a piece of art, is doing something different. Okay. So we have our bongo cat uh, in space. Now, I have a question. Should this go like this? Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, there we go. It's looking more spaceshipy. Right? And you often see me, so like I'll step back and look at it. And what I'm doing is I'm just kind of listening to my brain and my eyes. So if my brain is telling me that, something looks a little off, it's because it is. You just go ahead and fix it. Now listen to your brain. Listen to your eyes. See, I feel like that's too far down and it should be here. Now, if you don't have an easel and you are doing this on a flat surface, so you're drawing, like, pretend this is your canvas. If you're painting like this, be sure to actually bring your canvas up to your eye level, so like this. And the reason why is as you're painting like this downwards, you will actually change the perspective of your painting if you aren't constantly bringing it up, because paintings are meant to be hung on the wall, not like this. So once you hang it on the wall, your painting will reflect how you've painted like this. If that makes sense at all. The perspective changes. So if you were to take, say for example, if you were to do a painting and you're doing it like this, and then you go and hang it on the wall and you're looking at it, it's like, you know what, like there's something off. Like you can't really pinpoint it. It's just a little different, a little off. It's because the perspective is actually different. You've actually painted from a this angle perspective versus a this angle perspective. Yeah. Legit. Honestly, those sidewalk artists, those chalk artists, oh, insane. Absolutely insane. Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. Exactly. And that's because of the way that you're looking at it. Because everything is biological. It's your eyes, your brains, everything's working kind of together to tell you what that image is. Okay, so we have our bongo cat, right? Our beautiful bongo cat. Now, what I'm going to do is I wish I had a marker, but I don't. Um, but that's okay. I'll live. I will live. I'm actually, you know what? I think I'm going to actually rather enjoy this. And it's actually interesting because a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that how you're drawing, how you're painting actually reflects how it's viewed when it's finally finished and whatnot. So like if you're, say for example, if you're doing a like painting a tabletop or something like that, you want to do a painting on tabletop, it makes sense to paint like this because that's how it's going to be viewed. So it's important to actually do the painting how it's supposed to be viewed. There's no like you don't need an easel. Like I've been painting without an easel for about a year now, but when I'm painting is I do, like, especially when I'm doing these, so these pet portraits, is I don't do them on the easel. I do them on my desk here, but I will constantly flip it up. So once I've done something, I'm like, ooh, I really like this. I'll look at it up like this, and my eyes and my brain will tell me, okay, this area needs to be adjusted because it's a little off, and that's really what like artists can say. It's just off because that's kind of what our brains are telling us. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to make those adjustments. After all, it's just paint, so you can redo it or paint over it, whatever. It's just paint. Okay, so time for trick number 2. I think trick number 1 is the wet palette. I'm really proud of thinking about this idea. Like this is 100% like my own brain just being like, hey, because I was looking at actually buying one, and then when I saw what it was, it's just a sponge that has like these papers that you put on that keeps your paint moist. So as I was thinking about it, it's like, well, like why would I spend, and like a good wet palette's like $40. Like it's expensive. So I was thinking about it, it's like, well, like I'm sure I could just create something, and the way that the paper looks, it looks just like parchment paper. So I experimented, it worked, and I was like, well, there you go. I just took a crappy old baking pan, some paper towels, and yeah. So I'm taking my Mod Podge, so my matte medium, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my paintbrush here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take the big paintbrush. I'm going to take my big paintbrush here. So I have more of a surface. I have a tendency to work with smaller paintbrushes. I have tiny little hands, and stature-wise, I am pint size, so I like working with smaller things. So here we go. Taking my matte medium, and what I'm going to do is I'm just painting over my sketch with the matte medium. I'm gonna need more matte medium. And you want just like a nice even layer. Now, the thing is with the matte medium, you don't want to overwork it. As soon as you feel resistance on your paintbrush with it, stop playing with it. And the reason why is it will create these gunky little bits. So think about glue. When you touch tacky glue, how it gets those like webs and those like little like chunky bits that are kind of gross. The same thing happens with the matte medium. Oh, I just got some purple in there. That's okay. See, there's a little chunky bit right there. So I'm going to try to get that out. Maybe? What does masking fluid do? The best way I can describe matte medium is it's basically the same thing as like Elmer's glue. As like that white liquid Elmer's glue. But it doesn't discolor. I got another chunky bit. What's with these chunky bits? Get out of here. I just got, oh, because it's the eraser. That's the professional way of cleaning your area. Just rude to describe. Hold on. Let me cover this, and then I will look up. I will look it up. Chunky bits. Get out of here. So what we're doing here is we're sealing our sketch. And I will show you why in just a moment. Whoopsies. Oh, you know what? Because this is old. So it's probably drying up inside. That's why it's chunky. And believe it or not, so this Mod Podge, I found, where are you? There we go. So this Mod Podge I found at the dollar store. I tried to look for it yesterday, but it wasn't there. But you can pick it up at a Michael's and it's still pretty cheap. Get out of here, chunky bits. Okay, so it's fine. We're adding texture to our painting. So here we go. So this is what we're going to do. I know I'm overworking it. Like I said, do what I say, don't do what I do. My mom would be yelling at me right now. Don't work it. Don't work it. As soon as you feel the pull, just leave it be. Let it be. I'm like, no. My obsession. Okay, so here we go. I have now sealed my sketch. This will do one of two things. One, your pencil will not bleed into the paint now. So I will show you. So here, if you look on my color wheel here, how I did a sketch here, so you can tell that my pencil has actually blended into the paint. So when I use the paint, the pencil is blended in. And that can be bad, because if you want yellow and you've painted over your sketch here, it'll constantly just keep blending into your paint. So this way, if I were to put, once this is dry, if I were to put yellow here, it will be yellow. and it will actually cover my sketch here. But then we're going to wait for this to dry. Once it's dry, we're going to go on to trick number 3. And this dry is super fast, super quick. So we just hang out for a bit, drink some tea, finish up your drawing, your sketches. If you're drawing along, maybe throw them in the chat. And I am going to look up masking fluid. Watch a YouTube video. Hello, Fred. You come in at the best time. We're actually doing the fun stuff now. Okay, no. It is not the same as masking fluid. We can watch together. So that's what masking fluid is. So it's almost like a liquid tape. That's kind of cool. Now, who wants to buy some watercolors and masking fluid now? This is what I want to do, and my brain's like, no, Eris, poor. Don't buy more paint. That's cool. No, matte medium's more like a sealer than tape. And I wonder if you can use the masking fluid as kind of a tape to do borders with acrylic paints. I'm wondering if that's possible. It might be. So One thing I don't like about this easel is canvas kind of like gets slides. Could be because it's uneven. That's okay. So you can see it's still kind of shiny. I don't know if you can tell that it's still shiny. If I move it, does it sheen? There we go. Yeah. I love, so my joy, so my first love is actually mixed media. I love just taking different forms of media. So like when I say medium or media, um, they are art utensils. So like pencil crayons, chalk pastels. I love chalk pastels. Like that is like my first love is chalk pastels. Um, and I love incorporating them. So I love just taking things and putting them together and seeing kind of how it works out. And it actually creates a really unique piece of art. Now, one thing I will say, and this is my horrible bad habit, is try avoiding leaving your paintbrushes in your water. No worries. Do your thing. Do your thing. Thank you for coming in. Try not to leave your paintbrushes in the water. It will shorten their lifespan. It will get them out of shape. And the other thing it will do, it will actually loosen the glue inside your brush. So what actually happened to me, so inside, where are you? Where are you? Here you go. Inside here. So what had actually happened to me one time, and I think this actually happened like on stream, um, is I had, especially with the dollar store paintbrushes, I had this brush that I was using that really was working well with the pet portraits, and as I was drying it off, so when I was drying it off like this, the bristles just came completely off. So that's because I always keep my paintbrushes in my water. So try to avoid doing that. But you will see me just be like blunk. And the other thing too is as it sits at the bottom of your paint, is it'll start warping your paintbrush. So it'll start going like this. So try to take them out, dry them off with a paper towel, just very gently, and move with the bristles. So that way you keep the bristles in form. And then lay it flat, somewhere flat to dry. So whether it be at the edge of your counter, if you have an easel, you could just dump it in your easel. It's up to you. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to take out my professional brushes from my stack here. I say my professional brushes. Actually, my mom dumped up a bunch of art supplies on me, which is great. Because she now has her favorite brushes, and so she dumped off a bunch to me, and there's a number of professional brushes in there that I love. So I will say this, there is definitely a difference between professional brushes and the dollar store brushes. I will say that the professional brushes are a lot smoother. It's a lot more, it just has a really smoother feel to it. They keep their shape better. So I will say that I might huff a little bit as I'm painting, kind of gripe a little bit, just because I have started using professional brushes and I do like them. So fair warning, I might get a little huffy, a little fussy, shall we say. So I'm taking my dollar store paintbrushes. I also have these. Oh, bend. So I picked these up yesterday. from the dollar store. Look at this. And it says camel hair. So I want to try these out and see how they are. So we'll see. It seems so fancy. It's camel hair. $3. A whopping $3.50. $3.50. We're gonna test these out. Right? To be honest, probably. And I want to see, like, I was trying to actually see if it was, like, if there was a thing, like a little disclaimer being like, not actual camel hair, like, this is replicated camel hair, but there's nothing on there. Yeah. So I will show you as I'm painting. So when we actually get started on this guy, I'm going to show you how I paint and kind of like how to really work your brushes. So one thing that I've learned, oh wow, it's like, whew, I don't know if I'll use these because there's already hair like coming out of it. And I don't want hairs in my painting. Maybe I'll try it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Probably not. Oh, maybe at the end I'll give it a whirl, see how it is. But there's like already like little hairs coming out. And I don't feel like picking out hairs. It is the dollar store, right? So we can't expect like good quality. Oops. You go over there. You can go here. Okay. So that's a little tacky. I'm going to hair dry it again. This is, like I said, I'm impatient. I'm impatient and I'm lazy. Take your trusty handy dandy hair dryer. There we go. Do the touch test. Okay. Now, trick number 3. We have our sealed sketch. You're going to take a bunch of white. We're going to paint over it. No worries. No worries. Do your thing. Life happens. Here we go. I'm trying to get the white. No problem. I mean, I've disappeared for what, like 3 months now? Life has been chaotic lately. So I've been really looking forward to this because it's something where I'm actually like interacting with people for the first time in like 3 months. So there we go. So what we've done here is we've kind of just like masked our drawing a bit. So now that it's not so defined, but you can still see your sketch underneath. Let's see if I can do it a little bit more evenly. Yeah. And the reason why you want to make sure that your matte medium is dry before you top it off with the white is, like I said, it will get gunky otherwise. So it'll look gunky. And you don't want that. You want nice, smooth canvas. That's good. That's good enough. Okay, so like I said, I am lazy. I am going to blow dry this bad boy. Doing the touch test, it's still a little tacky. Oh, look at the kitty. Look at the kitty. Touch. It's a little tacky at the bottom, but that's okay. We don't need to deal with that right now. So here we go. Are we ready? Are we ready to get some painting done? Some actual work done on the canvas? Yes? We paint now? Alright. So Bongo Cat actually has an outline. So I'm going to take some black. I made a mess of my palette here. Now I like to utilize, I'm a bit of a risk taker when it comes to painting. I like to utilize all of my palette. So I try to find like open areas and I'll actually like start mixing paint in there, which can be a little tricky. All right, so what I am going to do is I'm going to take, no, not that one. I could take that one. Let's try, let's see what else I got. of course, like all the ones I'm like, ooh, I like this one. It's not a dollar store paintbrush. Like this one will work. No, it's not a dollar store one. Do I have sneaky ones in the drawer? I do not. Okay. I'll take this one. Oh, my big butt just got in the way. I'll take this one. This one here. We'll see how it works. Yeah, we'll see how it works. Okay, so I'm gonna put my paint in, and what I'm doing is I'm just putting the paint on the tip of my brush. So you see, I'm not covering the entire brush in paint. I'm just putting it, just the tip, just the tip. Okay, now this is, it's a bit thicker than I want, so I'm just taking some excess paint and I'm kind of twisting and turning my brush at the same time because I want to try to obtain the finest point possible. So the finest point possible so I can make those really thin lines. So here, I'm just going to go here and I'm just following my sketch that's underneath. And see how like smooth this is since we primed this canvas. It's so much smoother than trying to paint on an unprimed canvas, and your paint will go much further, so you can actually cover more area with less paint. And it's okay if you make a little boo-boo, because like I said, the great thing about acrylic is if you make a mistake, you can just wait for it to dry and cover it up. So here we go. Here we go. Oh. There we go. Oh, no, too thick. There. And how did it go? I'm going to kind of more like this. There we go. Okay. I am terrible at straight lines. I like to joke that my queerness prohibits me to do anything straight. So here we go. Good enough. So we have our outline. Here we go. Oh, I just made a boo-boo. One eyeball. It's still a little derpy, but that's okay. This will be Bongo Cat's derpy cousin. There we go. There, it's not bad. Is it me or is the camera a little out of focus? Let's see if we can fix that. Ooh, 1 second, please. There we go. Surprise. So we have our derpy cat. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create gray. And a lighter gray. I want a... See, so with like that gray that we did like an hour ago, it's still wet. If we did not have this wet palette here, if we didn't make this wet palette, this would be dry by now. And you could try to wet it down, but like I said, it'll make it thinner, which means that it'll be translucent. It won't be as opaque. It won't be as solid. So, and like I said, I like to roll, when I'm doing outlines, I like to roll my paintbrush, like twist it as much as possible to kind of create that good point. And also what it does is it moves the paintbrush further, or moves the paint further down the paintbrush. There we go. So I'm rolling, twisting, trying not to put my hand in the paint. And whenever you guys are done, just let me know, because I could literally do this all day. Whoopsies. I'm running out. I don't want to mix more, so I'm trying to use as much as possible. I'm just gonna try. we go. It's not perfect, but nothing in this world ever is. So now I want a darker gray. Oopsies. And that's okay. See? And now to make kind of like the reflection inside here, I want a lighter gray than this, but a darker gray than that. Somewhere in between, just adding a bit of white. Mix, 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 mix. Mix, mix, mix. Let's see if I got it. And it's still a bit too dark. And when I'm mixing, so if I'm using the same, so if I'm doing grays, for example, I won't rinse my paintbrush every time. I just use the same paintbrush. It's only when I'm switching colors completely. So if I was working with blues, I'll just keep the same paintbrush. But if I were to decide, okay, I want to work on reds now, then I'll rinse my paintbrush. So how's that looking? I would prefer this if this went like this. That. Yes. It is a bongo cat in a spaceship. Mm-hmm. So here, I kind of feel like I'd want this to come down a little bit. What I like to do is I like to have my setup. This is what I call my setup. So I have my image that I want. I have an idea in my head that what I want. And as I kind of go through, so I'll finish the bongo cat. And then I kind of want to have this like reflected and then it going in space. When I look at, like, say for the spaceship, for example, I kind of, when I see it also on the screen there, this side kind of looks a little bit, it looks more like one of those like inflatable water tubes instead of an actual spaceship. So I think I might elongate this a little bit more out like this. But what I'll do is I'll do that afterwards. So I kind of like to have everything done and then I do the corrections and the fine details afterwards. So I need red. I don't have any red in here. So I'll throw some red right there. Boop, boop, boop. See what kind of pink this makes. Okay, it's not bad. The other thing too, um, adding white. So if you want to brighten a color, adding white may not necessarily be the way to go. Um, Adding white dulls a color, doesn't necessarily brighten it. So what you can do, so say if you wanted kind of like a fuchsia, you would probably want to add some purple and some orange, maybe, to make like a fuchsia. And then maybe a touch of white just to get it a little lighter. Yeah, that's probably what you would want to do. Now, for the little paws, I am going to use this little guy. This guy has been through some use. Tell he's a little misshapen, labels coming off. No, these bristles aren't great, so I am not going to use this. What else do I have? What else do I have? Nothing really that I want to use. Oh, nope, not that one. I'm gonna try this one. I've been surprised. Where are you? This one here. I've actually been quite surprised by these in the past. So we'll see how it goes. So with these ones, I definitely like to kind of load it up and roll it. So if you ever watch Bob Ross, he'll say, pull the paint down and kind of roll the paint so you get that a nice point. It's doing the exact same thing. So I had a poofy paintbrush before. Now I have a paintbrush with a nice point at the end. Now I know I did say try to avoid covering the whole paintbrush, but sometimes it happens. So I'm going to use this guy. To create a wee little circle. There we go. Bye, Stormin. Have fun. Thanks for hanging out. Oh, okay, so this is maybe not the best paintbrush out there for this. All right. We got a paw. And of course, as you can see, I am leaving my paintbrushes in the water again. Do what I say, not do it as I do. So how are you guys feeling? Do we want to keep going? Do we want to raid somebody? Because we've been going at this for about 3 hours now. Maybe 2.5 hours now. I'll probably keep working on this because I'm very much enjoying it. And I have big ideas. But it's up to you. Where are you feeling? Now that you know the basics, you know what to do to actually make a nice painting. And then once your painting is done, take your matte medium. And what I like to do, especially with this here, with this squirt bottle here, is I like to do it exactly how I prime this. So I just do squirt, 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 and then I even it out afterwards. And that will seal your painting What it'll also do is it'll help it from discoloring as well, and it'll make it last longer and look a little bit more professional as well. Mm-hmm. Oh, so thirsty. Mm-hmm. Thank you. So you guys tell me where you're at if you want to keep going. If you want to end here, no worries. How many people are hanging with us? We've got a few. It's a long weekend, so I'm like, sure, I can wake up at 10 o'clock on a Saturday. I have the like 2 other days to sleep in all day. Enjoy your day, Ellen. It was great having you here. No problem. Hopefully somebody's learned something. I didn't know about the matte medium thing until my mom actually told me about it. Mm. There's a seed in my orange. Mm-hmm. Perfect. How are you guys doing? Like, do you want to? How's everybody else doing? Do you want to keep going or do you want to rate out? First answer wins. Do, 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 do. All right, Durbo, yeah. I'll leave that decision to you then. While you decide, I'm going to keep going. Durmo's turning into the next Franco. Wait, is Franco here? See, this is how I'm fixing my boo-boo. I made a too dark gray, so now it's not going to be a darker gray. It's okay. As Bob Ross says, this is your world. You can do whatever you want. Or as I like to say when I stream, can we fix it? Yes, we can. It's from Bob the Builder. Bob the Builder. All right. So let's say we go for half an hour. More, we'll rate out. Oh, no, that's too dark now. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. See, that's what happens when you add too much black. That might be better. So let's say 130. 130. I like nice round numbers. 130. See how far I can go in half an hour. and then what I actually might do. So this is probably what I'm going to do. You've seen how it is with the dollar store paintbrushes. I'm going to fix this. Don't worry. Don't worry. So probably what I'm going to do after this is I'm probably going to pop on stream and finish this off with the non-dollar store paintbrushes. But I still use them. Like a lot of my paintings still incorporate. Like I actually use this brush a lot because I like the feel of it, and I really like. I really enjoy the nylon bristles, and they're a lot easier to clean. So to clean your paintbrushes, warm water and soap, and try to get as much paint off of it as possible. Use your hands. You got to get dirty. Like your hands will be covered in paint. Acrylic paint just washes right off with soap and water. Try not to get it on your clothes though, because it will stain your clothes. 99% of my clothes has paint all over it. Um, I'm trying not to get paint on this guy because I love this shirt. It's my Gremlin shirt. You can find it in my merch shop. Plug there. But I have my swan, or rather my goose sweatshirt that's also in my merch shop, which is one of my favorites too. That actually has matte medium all over it. All over it. Oh, I just got a bit of white in there. It's a bit choppy, but that's okay. Yeah, I don't like this. I kind of want it to come down. But how do I want to do the background? Okay. Let's start off with blue. Backgrounds are always fun. Take some blue, flinging paint everywhere. Don't forget your edges. Always gotta do your edges. Now, say you want to blend this. Like I kind of want like this gradient effect. It takes some work. Now, usually what I would say is do your background first and then, you know, do your centerpiece. Especially, so this one here. So for this one, as I'm starting to work on it, so here, is I want to fill in this back part here so that it's not all white. It's going to be a pain in the ass for me to do because I have to go around all these little flowers and then I'm probably going to have to touch up the flowers again. So that was dumb on my part. I should have done the background first, but that's because I didn't plan ahead. I knew I wanted to add some flowers, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So here I'm just gonna just roughly add some blue. Don't forget your edges. And then I'll do the edges on top and where I missed once everything's dry, just to finish it off. But this, doing the edges, is really what makes like an art piece complete and look a little bit more professional as well. Because nothing's worse than having, you know, a nice beautiful canvas here, and then when it's hanging up, you just see white underneath. Okay, so we got blue. Now, if I were to add, well, that is way too much black. I'm just gonna dab some of this off. Dab it. So if I wanted to blend this, so to blend acrylic paint, thank you. Layers, 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 layers. Have I said layers? Especially since it dries so quickly. Another trick. So here's another trick with blending acrylic paints. What you can do is kind of do a gradient. So I will show you. I will show you here. So I'll start with a blue. So I'll put blue here. You know what? I'll kind of do a circle. Do a circle. So you see my circle? Circle here. And then what I'll do is I will take maybe some white, put it in here, but just like a little bit of white because we want like a gradual change. Maybe like this. Yeah, there we go. So then I'll do like a line here. A bit more white. So another, oh, that's not enough white. So what I'm doing is I'm just adding the gradient, or like the hue, the different hue, just to like the inside. So when you're when you're trying to do highlights and lowlights, this is a little trick. Instead of trying to blend uh, acrylic paints together. This is a bad example, but it gives you an idea of what to do. When doing shades, so I'll show you what this guy did. This guy is such a good example. And I'm trying to get this finished in time. This was is hopefully going to be a submission for this like artist guild that I just joined. So here, maybe if I bring it closer, here you go. Here, this daffodil is a great example. Is it in focus? Yes, it is. Okay. So here, how to do proper highlights and lowlights. Where there is dark, there must be white. So I have my dark inside here. So on the outside of it is going to be light. And that's how you create, that's how you imitate shading and make it actually look rather realistic, is where there's dark, there must be light. So that's your low lights and your highlights. And same thing here. So here, so in this leaf here, in order to create it to make it kind of look like it's divoted, there's dark right inside where it would be folded, and then there's light right on top. So just think about it in your head. Like, think about how do things work? Like when you're looking at like if you have your hands like this, right? You see the shade here, and then you have the light right next to it, right? So if you're trying to overlap things and really make things look realistic, just think about that. Think about how things work, and think about, nature. One of the things too is, like, I actually really enjoy doing flowers because I find them really easy. But also you can fake them a lot, because nothing, like I said before, nothing in nature is perfect. So you don't have to worry about it. Okay. So I have my background started. We're going to continue with this here. So, and actually in King of Mischief, so for what I've decided to do is, for a year, anybody who subscribes to the Twitch channel gets their name put in a jar, and whoever gets pulled out at the beginning of the next month wins a prize. A lot of times lately, it has been like custom art pieces from me. So King of Mischief has won a number of times. I still have not completed. I completed one of their paintings. I have many more, which is why I decided to only do it for a year, because I am so behind. But on the painting that I did for them, that's actually finished and shipped out to them, that's how I did my shading. Was I just did one part that was dark, and then just right next to it is I did another lighter one, so it actually looks like it's shaded. But it's just a little cheat. A little cheat to make it look like the thing, but not actually be the thing. So like I said, to blend with acrylic, especially since acrylic dries fast, layers, and try not to work it too much, because you will actually start kind of taking the paint off of the canvas. So you can actually see here, I don't know if you can see it very well on the camera, but there's actually white splotches that are coming. It's because I'm working the paint too much. But it will actually blend in, because as you add moisture to this here, it will basically revive itself and it'll blend into the paint that you're adding on. So it won't look as choppy. So like I said, layers, 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 layers to blend. And this is where like the matte medium actually comes into play a lot, is if you kind of want to create a layered effect, that will help, because you can really dilute your paint with the matte medium and just kind of add layers on top of it, and it'll create this really cool variant effect without making your paint look too thin or watery. So that's kind of the best way of describing matte medium, is it makes your paint more transparent, so look thinner without removing substance. So if you were to, so say for example, I'll actually show you. Why am I trying to describe this when I can actually show you? So you guys see how this is paint, right? So I'm just going to take, and I do this a lot actually, when I'm like running low on paint and I don't want to mix it again, I kind of just add water, just straight from my my wash cup, I suppose, and I'll mix it into the paint, and it just kind of revives it. So this is me just adding water to some, like a little bit of paint here. So this is what it looks like. So it kind of has a watercolor effect, right? So this is the beauty of acrylic paint, is you can create watercolor effects. You can create oil paint effects. It's great for using with mixed media. You don't have to think about the placement of your colors, because with oil paint, you have to think about, because oil paint doesn't dry, it's constantly wet until you seal it. So you really have to think about how you're placing your paint. So if you place dark on dark, it's not going to work. You're not going to be able to see it. And it'll just kind of become this, and you can't quite blend it as you can with acrylic paint. It'll just kind of become this like ookie gookie mess. Yeah. Now what was I doing? Right, blue. But just like I said, with one thing, if you are going to water down your acrylic, just beware that over time it can crack. But you can create this watercolor effect, like really make this translucentness with the matte medium, but it's not going to weaken the actual paint. There we go. So you see how it's kind of, no, see there's a spot. I made a spot because I'm working it too much. Lots of paint. So much paint. Stop it. This is why I say do your background first. Although, what I could do is if I really wanted to, I'm going to test it out actually with this painting here. And I might do that today. where to try to do the background and try to get away with not being as careful as I need to be is I'm going to try to seal what I have with the matte medium and let it completely dry and cure. And then that way I can do the background, be as messy as I want. And then I can just take a wet Q-tip and clean up the edges. Because with the matte medium, it's like I said, it creates a seal. So if you were to paint something over top of it and you don't like it, you could just wipe it right off. Which is great. And that's the other great thing about acrylic paint is it's water soluble. So if you make a mistake, you can just, wipe it off. Wipe it off. And you don't have to use chemicals, just water. It's beautiful. Get my Zoolander cough in. That's such a good movie. Got a nice blend going. For sure. Thank you. Thank you. It's proving that one there is proven to be quite a beast, which is why I'm like, I'm trying to get it finished for this submission. I don't think I will, but we'll see. Whoopsies. Why are these chunky bits? Get out of here, chunky bits. I'm just kind of not really caring how it's going on for this bottom bit. This is really just the base. It's all about the base. That's the base. No trouble. Don't forget your edges. Oh yeah, that's good stuff. Oh, I got a chunky bit. And I'm just gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna add some purple in here. This is just kind of my starting point. I love purple. Blue and purple. For some reason, that's my favorite background to go to. It's blue and purple. I find that, especially with space, it just makes a really good background. That's maybe too blue. That's okay. Can we fix it? Yes, we can. Just trying to be careful. So the best way to be careful is don't fight with your paint. As soon as you start seeing that your paint is running low on your paintbrush, load it up again. That way you create these these smooth edges. And you're not fighting with it. Oh, I just messed it up. That one stroke just messed it up. That's okay. It's okay. And so for this, what you would do is if you were to say, for example, to start with a background, especially a dark background like this, and you know that your focal point will be light, what you do is just do your background, and then where your focal point is going to be, make a white box. So just so I would do, if I were to do this, is I would sketch my thing and then the outline. So everything from like the top of the like dome piece to the edge, is I would just have this entire space white. So that way you don't have to be careful when doing the background, especially if you want kind of like a very, I don't want to say complex, but a background with movement. So this is going to be space, right? So we're going to have some stars and some stuff going on. And it'd be easier if I didn't have to worry about this. But that's why I just kind of rushed this. I don't really care about the fine details as of yet. I just want the basics. Because I can, after I'm satisfied with everything else, I can go back into this and start doing my corrections. And I always kind of, so my thing is I like to finish off with like the piece de resistance. Um, so with the pet portraits, I'll do everything, and then I'll do the eyes last because that's what really brings it together. So for this here is I'm going to do the background and everything, and then I'm going to do this last because this is what brings everything together. Oh, and I just made a mistake. So I'm just making a few boo-boos. That's okay. I'm not going to stress over it because I know I will go back and fix it later. Right now, I just want to make sure that all the areas are covered. So it's okay. So that's the great thing. Like I said, that's the great thing about this. It's a great thing about working with acrylics. Especially when you're starting out and you're like, "Ooh, I want to do this." And you're like, "Oh, but I have like all this space," or like, "Oh, I really feel like it needs a background, or I really want to add a background and look really nice." Do it. Do it. There's nothing stopping you. And then you can go, if you make a mistake or you paint over something by accident, you just fix it. Now this little piece here, this little piece here, and my edges. There you go. There we go. Et voila. Okay. So look at this guy. Look at this cutie. I need water. I need liquids. See, and remember that kind of like circle that we did where I was showing you how to kind of make things like a gradient without actually blending. This is now all covered up. You can't even see that. See, I wasn't lying. I told you, you just paint over it. It's just paint. It's just paint. There are no wrong answers. So did anybody actually do any painting? Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you. Honestly, like I feel okay. It's just my chest. Like I just have like a really phlegmy chest. But no problem. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Awesome. Awesome. This is a lot of fun. And I like sharing stuff. Especially painting. Painting's so much fun. Well, that's because we're not using oil paints, so we don't need to use any paint thinner and smack things. But I use it's so I have like I really need like a rag or something because I just use the same paper towel over. So I'll move this like I do this. This is how I clean them. Well, this is how I rinse them, and I rinse it and then I take my paper towel and I wipe it off. I also don't have a studio. This is my like den. And I think the landlords would be really upset if there was paint everywhere. Okay, so we are approaching 1:30. Is there anybody that you feel like rating? I'm just gonna see who's online very quick. There's one person I have in mind. They are not a dino. But if they're online, I would like to rate them, but I don't see them online, so it's fine. Also, another tidbit is singing while you paint, making noises. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, let's do it. Are they there? I don't see I don't see Carrot online though. Oh, I do. It's right there at the top. My bad. Yeah, for sure. Let's rate into Carrot. I'm going to take probably an hour break just to rest my voice and my throat. And then I'm probably going to pop on Twitch as well, and I'm going to work on this guy, and I'm going to work on my flowers as well. So if you want to come hang out with me later today as well, by all means, please do. All right, so let's raid into the Carrot. Let's do it. Thank you everyone so much for being here. Honestly, it means a lot. It really, really, really does. It really does, and I really hope that that you guys actually made something. I'd love to see them as well. Awesome. I'm gonna pop into the Carrot.
Whispers, apparently, Mothman.
Let's do it.
I'll wait while you check Whispers.
Okay.
Huh?
What's the thing?
Oh no, you're good. Proceed.
Are we doing the thing? Did you guys already do the thing?
No, are things being stalled right now?
Do we do a countdown?
All
Oh, this is my first time, guys. I'm scared and shy.
Suppression or whatever doesn't work here. Okay.
Mm.